Principles of Design and Elements of Arts. Learning Task 1. Use the pictures below to check how much you know about this topic. Classify them according to what principle of design they belong. Write your answer in your notebook. Choose your answer from the following. Principles of Design. The word design indicates both the process of organizing visual elements and the product of that process. It is a result of our basic need for meaningful order. Some designs are so well integrated that they have qualities beyond the mere sum of their parts, such as said to be beautiful, interesting, absorbing, or surprising. Art and beauty can be expressed in many ways. In natural beauty of huge old trees or in the created beauty of a painting of those trees, like in the work of Van Gogh, large plain trees. Unity and variety. Unity refers to the appearance or condition of oneness of an artwork. All the elements such as line, color, texture, and others belong together that results in having a coherent and harmonious whole. As variety provides diversity, yet it acts as counterbalance to extreme unity, the visual themes were established with the use of lines, shapes, and colors. The many figures and the objects in the complex compositions of Lawrence form a unified design through the artist's skillful use of abstraction, theme, and variation. Going Home, Jacob Lawrence. The Immigration Series, Jacob Lawrence. Balance. Balance is the condition in which acting influences are held in check by opposing forces, or what is in the left side should appear on the right side also in order to achieve equilibrium. The near or exact matching of left and right sides of a three-dimensional form or a two-dimensional composition is called symmetrical balance. Two sides which are not the same is a symmetrical balance. A symmetrical balance can be seen on the wheels of the chariot in Giacometti's bronze, where the slim figure that serves as a vertical attach on an elevation. On the other hand, Haranovus' figure on a wood blank print, a symmetrical balance was achieved with one figure sitting and the other standing. Both heads of the figure bends to the center. Emphasis and subordination. To draw our attention to an area or areas, the artist uses emphasis. To create emphasis, position, contrast, color intensity, and size can all be used. Neutral areas of lesser interest are created by artists through subordination to keep us from being distracted from the area's emphasis. Contrast. The juxtapositions of strongly dissimilar elements is called contrast. Dark set against light, large against small, bright colors against dull are examples of contrast. Visual experience becomes monotonous without contrast. Contrast can be seen also in the thick and thin areas of a single brush stroke. Repetition and rhythm. The repetitions of visual elements give a compositions of unity, continuity, flow, and emphasis. Rhythm in the visual art is created through the regular recurrence of elements with a related variation. Scale and proportion. Scale is the relations of one thing to another. It is one of the first decisions an artist makes when planning a work of art. Proportion is the size relationship of parts to a whole. Learning Task 2. Analyze the image at the center, then answer the questions provided in each quadrant. Write your answer in your test notebook. Learning Task 3. Find the circle all the elements of arts that are hidden in the grid. The words may be hidden in any direction. Write your answers in your test notebook. Elements of arts. Medium and elements together are the materials that artist uses in creating a work of art. The distinctions between them is easy to see but hard to define. An element can be known only in some medium, but as an element, it is independent of medium. The 7 elements of art are line, shape, space, value, color, texture, and perspective. Line. Line is our basic means for recording and symbolizing ideas, observations, and feelings. It is a primary means of visual communication. Lines always have direction. They are always active. The following illustrates the line variation. A. Actual line. B. Implied line and implied curved line. C. Actual straight line and implied curved line. D. Line created by an edge. E. Vertical line. Horizontal line. F. Diagonal lines. G. Sharp judged lines. H. Dance of curving lines. I. Hard line. Soft line. J. Rug, irregular line. Shape. Shape refers to the expanse within the outline of a two-dimensional area or within the outer boundaries of a three-dimensional object. It may be geometric, which tends to be precise or regular, or organic, which are irregular, often curving or rounded, and seems relaxed and more informal. Most common shapes in human-made world are geometric, while most shapes in nature. Mass is a physical bulk of a solid body material, and it has three-dimensional area. Mass in 3 dimension, recumbent figure. Mass in 2 dimension, head of a young man. Space. Space is the undefinable general receptacle of all things. It is continuous, infinite, and ever-present. The visual art are sometimes referred to as spatial arts because most of the art forms are organized in space. Architects are especially concerned with space, with three-dimensional objects such as in architecture and sculpture. One has to move around to get full experience of three-dimensional space. With two-dimensional works such as drawings, prints, photographs, and paintings, the actual space is defined by its edges, usually the 2 dimensions of height and width. The illusions of third dimension in two-dimensional work is spatial depth. Diagrams of clues to spatial depth in two-dimensional surface. A. Overlap. B. Overlap and diminishing size. C. Vertical placement. D. Overlap, vertical placement, and diminishing size. Value. Value refers to the lightness and darkness of the surface. It ranges from white to various grays to black. It can be a property of color or an element-independent color. Chiaroscuro is the use of gradations of light and shade in which the forms are revealed by the subtle shifting from light to dark areas. This technique was developed during the Renaissance period to create illusion that figures and objects depicted on a flat surface appear as they do in the natural light conditions. Color. Color is a component of light, affects us directly by modifying our thoughts, moods, actions, and even our health. Color exists only in light, but light itself seems colorless to the human eye. The so-called color is the effect on our eyes of light waves of differing wavelengths or frequencies. Properties of a color. Hue is a particular wavelength of spectral color to which we give name. In 1666, British scientist Sir Isaac Newton discovered that when the light of the sun passes through a glass prism, it is separated into the bands of colors that make up the visible spectrum. The sequence of the spectral color is red, orange, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Primary hues are red, yellow, and blue. Secondary hues, orange, green, and violet. These are produced by the mixtures of primary hues. Intermediate hues are red-orange, yellow-green, blue-green, and red-violet. Each are located between the primary and the secondary hues of which they are composed. Colors affects our feelings about size and distance as well as temperature. Yellow-green and red-violet are the poles dividing the color wheel into cool and warm hues. Cool colors found at the blue-green sides of the wheel, while the warm colors at the red-orange side appear to expand and advance. Texture. The textile qualities of our surfaces or to the visual representations of those qualities is referred to as texture in visual arts. Actual texture are those we can feel by touching. Simulated texture are those created to look like something other than paint on a flat surface. Painters simulate texture while sculptors and architects make use it as an actual texture. Perspective. Perspective is point of view. In visual arts, it can refer to any means of representing three-dimensional objects in space on a two-dimensional surface. It is a system designed to depict the way objects in space appear to the eye. In linear perspective, objects appear smaller at a distance because parallel lines appears to converge as they recede into the distance, and the last meeting of the lines on the horizontal is called vanishing point. Learning Task 4. Evaluate the designs below. Try to see what elements of art are applied. Write your answer in your test notebook. Learning Task 4. Identify the elements of an art that is described in each item. Write your answer on a paper. Identify the elements of art that is described in each item. Write your answer in your notebook. Elements of art. Evaluate the design below. Try to see what elements of art are applied.